The sun rises on the Formula One tracks with another twist in the story of the 2022 World Championship. There's a new rule out there that has Red Bull and Ferrari fuming while Toto could not be happier. What is this new rule? Why was it introduced? What do the teams have to say about it? And so much more. Stay tuned to find out. A strange thing that we see happening this season, especially in the Mercedes car, is that it has been bouncing on the track like a dolphin after hours of simulators and wind tunnel testing failed to uncover this problem. This bouncing phenomenon is called porpoising, and to understand that, you need to know the physics behind it. When a car is traveling at high speeds, it creates downforce, which glues the car to the track, increasing the grip, which in turn helps the car corner faster. But with the 2022 cars, the more speed, the closer the car gets to the ground, to a point where the car is so close to the ground, the airflow beneath the car stops. What happens then? The car bounces back up, and this begins a cycle of oscillation in the car. This, of course, is detrimental to the performance of the car, experiencing porpoising and the driver inside it. But not only that, this could be very dangerous to other cars as well. We all saw the images of Hamilton struggling with his back. The excessive porpoising almost made him lose control of his car too. Formula One is the most watched racing series in the world. On August 28th, F1 will return for the 14th race out of 22 Grand Prix. The Belgian GP will take place after the break, and will be staged at Stavelot this time. The 2022 Belgian Grand Prix, officially known as the Formula One Rolex Belgian Grand Prix 2022, is a Formula One motor race scheduled to be held on August 28, 2022 at the Circuit de Spa-de-Francorchamps in Stavelot, Belgium. Max Verstappen of Red Bull Racing is the defending race winner. From this race onwards, a technical directive will be introduced to limit the amount of porpoising and bottoming out of the following safety and legal concerns in the first half of the season. The FIA's proposal is for a specific addition to the Article 3.15.8 of the technical regulations addressing the flexibility of the plank underneath the car. The Belgian Grand Prix marks the introduction of F1's latest acronym, AOM, or Aerodynamic Oscillation Metric. This is a measure brought in on safety grounds to curb the impact of porpoising, following the return this season to ground effect aerodynamics. The metric sets a minimum ride height, which together with tighter controls introduced to curb flexing floors is expected to eat into the advantage of the season-dominant team. Not expected, there is vehement opposition from championship leaders, Red Bull and Ferrari, to the imposition of the metric mid-season because the other teams have largely designed their way out of the aero-bouncing issue. Red Bull and Ferrari argue that the new measures punish the teams that did a better job of interpreting the 2022 regulations and are not justified on safety grounds. Mercedes, who has suffered more than any with porpoising during the first half of the season, are a supporter of the FIA initiative and applaud the greatest scrutiny of flexing floors, which they suspect is behind the performance advantage of Red Bull and Ferrari. As the season is yet to begin, the FIA has introduced new flexing floor rules to curb the effect of porpoising, which has been proposed as the reason why some of the F1 teams couldn't perform better last season. However, this new tweak in the FIA regulations is arguably against Red Bull and Ferrari's plans, as they argue that the new rule is to punish the teams that did a better job of interpreting the 2022 regulation. They claim that their new rule is in favor of their rivals Mercedes and Toto Wolff and not them. In the mix of this argument, FIA holds its ground that the new changes are not to favor any team, but to ensure safety grounds for all teams. What do you think about this? Stick around till the end of the video to get the most interesting part of the update. Formula One's new flexi floor rule might just be a game changer for Mercedes, but the same cannot be said for Red Bull and Ferrari. Experts and fans alike are quite concerned that the new rule might leave the latter two teams to suffer from porpoising. If you've been keeping up with F1 news, you've probably heard the jargon being thrown around casually. But what exactly is porpoising? And how is the new flexi floor rule a disadvantage to some of the season's dominant teams? Let's break it all down and take a closer look at everything. Explanation of porpoising. Porpoising is an effect that can't be explained outside the scope of ground effect philosophy. Porpoising is an aero-bouncing effect that affects F1 cars as a result of the adoption of the ground effect philosophy. The ground effect philosophy is the sucking of air underneath a car to pull it down onto the track at high speed. The faster the car goes, the more it is sucked downward. This eventually causes the car's airflow to stop as it can't escape into the air. When this happens, the car springs upward for a short while. Once the car's floor is clear, the car is sucked down again. The recurring of this process is called porpoising. Do you know that as Formula One cars travel at high speeds, they experience problems at fast corners? This is because some Formula One cars can't handle porpoising as well as others. In the past, teams like Mercedes have had issues dealing with porpoising. However, the new safety directives set to be implemented in the upcoming Belgian Grand Prix seem to favor Mercedes and not teams like Red Bull and Ferrari. Why is that, you ask? Keep watching this video to find out. Formula One introduced a new set of rules that seem to change the game of motorsports entirely. This change affected teams like Mercedes greatly, with commentators referring to porpoising every so often. But porpoising sounds like a technical term to most people, a Formula One lingo, if you will. So let's start explaining what porpoising even means. Porpoising is simply an aerodynamic phenomenon that Formula One cars began to suffer from ever since the implementation of something called the ground effect philosophy. The ground effect philosophy is one in which air is sucked beneath a race car to pull it down onto the track at high speeds instead of over the top of the race car to push it down. The faster you go, the further the car wants to be sucked to the floor, and if it gets too close, it can cause the airflow to stop. At that point, the car is going to spring upward. Once the car's floor is clear of the ground, the flow of air kicks in again, and the car is sucked downward once more. The term is gotten from the humble porpoise, a sea-dwelling mammal that is known to bob up and down on the surface of the oceans as it swims. Porpoising happens when you can't control what the downforce does to the airflow under your car. It can be stopped by raising the height of your car. With the Belgian Grand Prix right around the corner, it seems that F1 commentators and experts have been referring to porpoising quite a lot. The term has even some of the most hardcore F1 fans scratching their heads, trying to understand what it means. But fret not, let us explain further in layman's terms. Porpoising is an aerodynamic phenomenon that employs the ground effect philosophy. Basically, when going down the track at high speeds, the underfloor of the car takes the form of a wing. This wing shape causes the car to be sucked down closer to the ground. Now the issue with this is that the faster you go, the further down the car gets sucked to the road. When the car is too close to the ground, the airflow stops the downforce that has been built earlier, suddenly drops to zero, causing the car to spring upwards. Once all the air has been cleared and the underfloor of the car is at a distance from the floor, air starts getting trapped again, downforce building again. This whole cycle causes a bouncing effect. Porpoising also makes things quite difficult for the driver. Not only is the constant bouncing uncomfortable, but it can also become abrasive for the driver as the car comes closer to the ground. In addition, it can cause headaches as well as pains in the neck and spine area. That sounds simple enough, right? However, even something so simple can't come with its troubles. The issue with porpoising is that the higher the speed, the further a race car wants to be sucked to the floor. This can cause the airflow to stall or even stop, which means the downforce created will take a nosedive, causing the race car to spring upwards. Once the race car's floor gets clear off the ground, the airflow kicks in again, and the car is pulled downwards yet again. This aggressive bouncing is what is known as porpoising. The rapid bouncing of the car at high speeds makes it difficult for drivers to control them, and while teams like Red Bull and Ferrari had a way of dealing with it, leaving teams like Mercedes in a problematic state, things have changed yet again. That's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed our video. So what do you think? Comment down below. If you found our video informative, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to hit the notification bell for more updates. Also, don't forget to like and share our videos. We'll see you in the next video.